won't keep you too long, Maria. It's an absolute pleasure. Again, like I said, thank you for taking the time to do this, especially considering the period. We are, of course, on the home stretch for a record release. How are you feeling?
Excited. It's, oh God, just a few days left, and I'm really excited. Looking forward to the reactions.
That's always going to be the fun part, isn't it? How about the whole
Yeah.
camp? How about the rest of the band? Everyone doing well as we approach, of course, the 10th of June and the release of Run.
Yeah, everyone is really, really excited. We are still working on something currently that is gonna be released on Friday as well. So we are right in the work mode still. We're not finished yet with everything. And that makes us a little, not anxious, but yeah, a little anxious, I would say, like a little stressed because we want everything to be finished. But we are also really excited for, yeah, for the release and finally share it with everyone. And everyone is really excited.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope so as well. But it's working on something that's going to be part of the release package on the Friday. Isn't that almost a good thing, a distraction, rather than just effectively sitting in your hands and waiting for the day to come?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be bored, let's say like this. I would absolutely not be bored if we didn't do that. But it is a nice thing because it's still so present. You're still so confronted with the album and with the songs, and so you're right in there still. You're not like, oh, we did this, so I forgot all about it. We did this months ago. We're still right in the topic, and that makes it feel relevant and present to us.
Well, that's great to hear. It's always interesting as well because, of course, when you're talking to an artist in the build to a release, whatever it might be, of course, that music isn't necessarily fresh and new to you. But we always find most artists, bands say that this period refreshes, re-energizes them for the music they made maybe even a year, 2 years ago.
Hmm. Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's really refreshing. Or yeah, we were also able to still put new ideas in there because it's so recent and it is really still really. I feel like this is a good representation of what we are now and who we are now because we were able to like kind of adapt a few things for Friday for what's going to be released. And yeah, that makes me really happy because it's really, really current. Yeah, and then it's nice. Would always love to immediately publish something right after I do it because I change so much in like in a short time. I always grow so fast. I feel like so much happens in such a short time. And that's why I would love to always put out everything I create immediately because life is so short. And yeah, I'm so happy that I will now be able to release, or we will now be able to release this album because I waited a while.
Waiting, it feels like that's been part and parcel of the last couple of years. In fact, talking about Future Palace in general, it feels like a lot of recent times for the band has been dominated by the COVID period, the debut album
Mhm.
Escape in 2020, and now the other side of it, so to speak, as we reach Run. How have you guys coped as a unit throughout this incredibly challenging period? And what, if anything, helped get you through it?
I think the way we cope with it was just writing an album. That's really what we did, and that distracted all of us, and that gave us hope for something new to create and to publish at some point. And it also kept us busy and also kept Future Palace going because we had to cancel our tours. All of our life plans were completely vanished, and yeah, that's what gave us the point again of Future Palace. We just started doing this album and we had something to do for these past 2 years, and we're completely busy with it, but also really happy because we were able to yeah, not analyze, but like I don't know, get all of our emotions out with these songs, and get our feelings out with writing music, because it was a shitty time. I was really depressed at that time, and these songs really helped me to get through this time so much better. And I think also for Manuel, who wrote most of the instrumentals, I think it was the same. A lot of things also happened in our private lives, and that really helped us to just, yeah, get along with it. And I think that's pretty much it. The music really helped us, and I hope it will now help others as well when they listen to it, and that they can hear the realness from this album. And yeah, we were just excited for these new songs. We really like our new album. We really like the new songs. We really think we improved a lot from Escape, or we just personally like them a lot more stylistically. And we were all so hyped, and that was such a positive thing carrying us through this time.
I'm glad to hear that. It is awesome that you had that focus. It is something obviously all musicians could have focused on, but there's also this not necessarily concern, but idea that albums that are coming out after the sort of more horrendous point of the COVID period are almost based in that time and become a time capsule for that period. Having listened to the album, I don't necessarily feel that's the case with Future Palace. You said yourself, it's more of a snapshot as well of where you are now, right?
Yeah, it's not like a thing that only works in that time. It is something. I mean, the album is not about the pandemic or something, or it is about our lives, and especially, or a lot about my life. And the only thing the pandemic helped me with was I finally had time and silence to think about or feel what I actually feel like, because there was no distraction. And this album is just really pure with, about what I felt in these situations, or like flashbacks I had, or hopes and fears I had. And I think a lot of people had similar experiences, but it's still relatable in any time you can think of. I think still today, when all these songs are published, I can still absolutely 100% relate to them. And even before this pandemic happened, I would have probably related to them. So it is really irrelevant what time it was written at. But I mean, it has parts and influences of it, but it is still about life in general. Yeah.
That's good, because none of us really want to get stuck on that specific period of time. Of course, it's got to have inspired and create tons of art, be it music or whatever. But it's nice to be also kind of thinking about life bigger, grander, not just focus on those couple of years. One of the things we regularly hear and talk to bands and artists about that period is that obviously when gigs got cancelled and everything came to a grinding halt in the music business, a lot of bands struggled to kind of make headway online. Everybody had to go online and try and stay relevant. Future Palace didn't seem to struggle. In fact, you are a rarity, and it seemed to have benefited from the online focus that occurred. Do you notice that, and has it been easy to keep that momentum going?
I'm not sure how far we've benefited from it. I think we just made the best we could out of the situation. So we try to get a benefit from it. Let's say this like this, because I mean, maybe a few more people consumed in this time, listened a lot more to music or videos, or watched videos, but I'm not sure. I have no comparison. That's the issue. I have no comparison. But I think we had a few months before the pandemic happened when we released things, and I don't see a huge difference. I just see a difference how we worked and how we just try to improve all the time. I do like social media management as a part-time job. And of course that, I got that job at March 2021. And from that day on, of course, I tried to improve our social media presence and try to look from it from a different point of view. And also our label wanted us to use this time and maybe do TikTok, for example, which we would have probably not have started without them asking us. And we did all of that, and all these different efforts make it the bigger picture, like little efforts here and there, like Twitter, TikTok, Spotify, playlisting. We just did all we could and used every platform that we could and tried to use the time as efficient as we could. When we were not able to play, we were sitting here every day. Everyone would record 5 TikToks every day, and so we could post all the time. So it was almost like a influencer part-time job or full-time job almost. So we really tried to keep going. So we made a benefit out of it, I would say.
That is incredible. That's incredible. Again, talking generally, it's a struggle for a lot of people, a lot of bands, a lot of artists to connect with the online world, particularly as changing algorithms and the difficulty of so many platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And you describe it so well that Future Palace sounds like you understand what's needed,
Yeah.
as much as possible. But with that, then I have to ask this question: do you enjoy it?
Doing a social media?
That's yeah.
Okay, I have to say my bandmates, especially Johannes, he hates it. He hates it, especially TikTok. He doesn't like it at all. He doesn't understand it. And there is an age gap between us, even though I don't want to make them sound old or me super young. There is a age gap of around 11 years with me and Manuel, for example. So I am almost a different generation. And I grew up as a digital native, you would call it. And I use a lot of these apps in my free time anyways. And I used to be like really addicted to social media. I used to be a YouTuber. Yeah, just recently I kind of stopped, but I had all of that always in my life. And I see the not the purpose, but I see the benefits of what these apps can give you. And to me, it used to be more fun and free time for me, but now it kind of switched because I also noticed how unhealthy it can be for you. And now I see it more as like work, but I try to make fun of, like, I love creative things. I love doing pictures and editing them. So it's always, I try to combine both of it and have fun with it. But to be honest, it's not as much fun anymore as it used to be, since it's also my part-time job. And, it is sometimes I like having a break from social media, and I enjoyed being on stage now and not having to like plan in all these posts and think about what we're going to do in the next month. So just enjoying our time on stage and being a free artist was really nice these past 2 months. Yeah.
Like a holiday, almost to
Yeah.
just back to some sense of normalcy.
Yeah. Or like a different, I think this job, as I would call it, it has so many different aspects that people don't even see. Like there's so much we do ourselves. It's crazy. You have to be like an all-rounder, really. It's really crazy. Even though we're signed at a label, we still do so many things on our own. And you learn so much doing it. And yeah, it's just nice to see how much you learn. Like on social media, you see what goes well, what doesn't go well, and it benefits you for other parts in your life as well. Like marketing wise, you get a bigger knowledge. But yeah, if it's fun, it is, to me, it is okay. It's not as horrible as for the other guys, I think, because I am also mainly now trying to do it. But yeah, I think it depends on the app, on the day. Some posts are more fun than the others, but it's really fun to share beautiful moments. That's really nice. Like the tour posts were really cool to see the feedback. And now when you have something to share, it is really nice. Not when you're forced to. I don't like that part. When you're forced to stay active. But if you have something to say and share, I love it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, something interesting, something's going to engage as well. Of course, a great example of that is Run, the 12 tracks and the singles that have been released up to this point. Now, universally positive reactions to all the songs that have come up to this point. Has that helped ease your nerves about how the overall record will be received when you see those comments and love for those songs?
Yeah, I think the people will like the album. I think also some might be a little confused that it's not all in all heavy, because we released a lot of heavy songs of this album because we really like them. But this entire album is not like super heavy. There are so many like not ballads, but like rock ballads and or more alternative rocky kind of songs. And so people should not be expecting a full metal album now, because we got heavier with these past singles. But I think they will still enjoy it because it's still Future Palace and it still has this new vibe. And it should show you that we can do both and you could enjoy both. But I think they will like it because we like it. And so far, we just released things we like and received such good feedback. So we got more confident with our own opinions. And one of my favorite songs is still unreleased. So I'm really excited for that one to
It's good to know.
reach people.
days. I mean, the expectations of a fan base is always going to creative people, and particularly when it comes to the second album. One of the more interesting things I've noticed, paying attention on your social media and stuff, is the glut of new fans that are coming in and hearing you for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
This album, whereas Escape might have been you guys moving off the starting blocks, this is you kind of moving with a bit more speed and intent. What is the Future Palace mindset when it comes to delivering on the expectations of your already positioned fan base, but also, of course, moving forward?
We just really do what we want mostly. We don't think about expectations. We think it's when we think about it, think about it more funny. Like, oh God, what are they gonna supposed to think of us after Loco Loco? Or like, we just laughed about it because we didn't think much about it. I mean, especially because Escape never had a big stage, or actually never went on stage because we never toured for Escape. So we were absolutely open and free writing. And yeah, there weren't. I mean, we were a little scared that people might jump off the Future Palace train because there are now screams in there. And also, when releasing A World in Tears, for example, we were a little scared, to be honest, because we just released heavier songs for the first time. And then we were like, oopsie, sorry, there's A World in Tears. And we also do that. So, yeah, because when people were introduced by songs such as Paradise or something that are really heavy, and then listen to A World in Tears, we noticed that most people were like, what? What is going on? Why is there such a big difference? But that is kind of what we are. We are really diverse. We are really have really different sounds within this one album, and that is what it's supposed to represent. A World in Tears is also part of Run, just as Flames and Paradise is. So we really just did what we liked, and it makes sense when you listen to the album, I think.
Of course. I also, you know, there's a desire within the rock metal world, as it were, to label a band, you know. So, but you guys, I mean, this is your second album. It's far too early to label you in that regard. Of course, you do what you want. Well, in 5 albums' time, who knows what you'll sound like?
True. Yeah. I love developing our sound and changing. It's like an evolution of our band. And it's just as we change as human beings, the music will change as well. You will go through different things. You will listen to different music, and that it just makes sense that artists also change, I think. But Run also or should also have parts of Escape in it from the sound. So most of others, I think, have an escape-ish vibe to them. Or some of them, like Roses, for example, because they're just clean singing only, most of them. And we still like that, and we still want to show people that that's also still us, and you can actually have both worlds, or even 3-4 worlds with us combined, and yeah, enjoy an album. I hope that my goal is always to have people from a new genre find us and be like, I wouldn't have expected to like this, but I like it. If I hear something like this, I think we did something right. Because I love when people say, you're the heaviest band I listen to, or someone would say, you're the softest band I listen to. And that's awesome, because both of them would meet at a concert, and that would be really amazing.
It guarantees this wonderful world where you can fit on any bill you want, because it is not niche specifics to the band. Of course, I mean, bigger subject really about Run. Obviously, it explores the aftermath of a toxic relationship and the struggle that follows that. And that is a hefty subject to portray, but one that will resonate. It's quite a balancing act to contextualize such a vast idea with something that is, of course, so very personal to so many different people. It works, and works incredibly well. I have to ask you, how did you go about reaching this balance, and where did you find yourself struggling, if at all?
I didn't even realize that there's such a balance. I didn't realize it until now, probably. Because, I mean, parts of it, or like reason for the balance, might be that I'm not alone, I'm not a solo artist, and I don't want to only have my stories completely on the album. So some songs, there were Manuel's stories he told me his story while writing the song, his emotion. I understood, and I kind of mixed the stories together for like songs such as Dead Inside, for example, or Wounds, I kind of got both messages and tried to make a new, not story out of it. I tried to write it in a way that you can relate to different situations. But yeah, I wrote it from my point of view about depression. He maybe wrote the song because of a breakup or whatever. And then we created this one song, and I tried to write it in a way that you could relate to it no matter what or not relationship, what situation you were in, that you can see it from different point of views. And that happened for like a few songs, but most of them were actually just my stories, like Defeating Gravity, Flames, Paradise, Heads Up, all straight up my stories. But also a song like A World in Tears, that was actually, I think Johannes once said he really, really wanted a song about climate change. He really wanted a different topic for once. And because that's a topic that that we really think about often, both of us, Johannes and I, are vegan, and we try to live a sustainable lifestyle as much as we can. And I thought, okay, how can I combine, once again, I tried to combine it, how can I combine this topic of climate change and also mental health, and how do I put myself in there? And that's kind of what I did with A World in Tears. And that might be the reason that it feels balanced, because yeah, it's not only stories told, it is sometimes a few topics mixed together and try to make sense out of it somehow. Yeah, but how I felt while writing it, that's also something you ask, right? How it made me feel. It was really therapeutic for me. Yeah, that's what I mostly say. I mean, it makes sense. It was like confronting, but I was able to, I think writing helps so much when you don't feel good. It does for me at least. Yeah, and then writing down these songs and thoughts, of course, it feels like destructive because you just read what you think and you're like, whoa, I think really badly of me, or I don't feel well. And I don't even notice sometimes, but after I read something or some of my song lyrics, I'm like, wow, okay, I felt really shit at that time. That's crazy. So you reflect as well. And it just helped me so much to get all of this mess out of me, all of these weights and heavy dark thoughts, and make some songs out of it and make something nice out of it in the end of the day. But also still performing them, it feels like such a relief. It's like you scream it out. It is amazing. It's like getting out of this emotion, like pouring it out. Yeah.
Expressing that emotion and getting that out over time as an artist yourself, and I guess your knowledge of the rest of the band as well, is that something that's getting easier?
I think it depends on how you feel on that day, because once again, life keeps changing and moving and things happen. And even on that tour, something happens in my family that was pretty rough, that somebody in my family died, and I heard it on tour, and that gave me an entirely different perspective on that day, on these songs. And of course that makes it harder once again, because so it hits you back in that moment. But still, I still performed on that day, and it helped me because I was able to get it out once again. You have to confront yourself, you have to get it out. And I was able to still make something nice out of it, to still have it made sense. It made sense to experience this pain or whatever. And I was able to share it with others and give them strength, or show them, look, you can still keep going. You can make something out of this. And I think it actually does get easier after time, because you kind of get used to it, of course, talking about these topics and doing it. And that you have to be careful that you don't start doing a show, I think, at some point. I always try to reconnect every time I sing these songs. I try to feel them. Right. Every time, yeah. And that might be a thing that some people might go numb at some point and don't associate. I think that's normal, but I would really love to have every show with the same energy. And so far that went really well, and it worked. It just worked. I never cried on stage yet, so that's pretty cool.
I think it's more from a fan perspective, in a live audience, for example, as well. While you will have you will have many that will connect on a more emotional level, there'll be plenty as well that are just enjoying musically what you guys are doing. And I think there's nothing wrong with that as well, because there's a sense of dramatics that comes with both the music and the videos that have accompanied some of what you've done up to this point. Something that adds weight to Run's individual tracks as much as anything else. About those videos, how much planning and work has gone into them? And I'll choose an example for you. Flames. Flames is the
Flames.
example I want to use.
Awesome. Yeah, Flames. Fun fact, I mentioned that earlier in other interviews, but we did Heads Up, Paradise in Flames together with Pavel. He's a director and videographer from Latvia. Really great guy. He really did amazing work with other artists as well. And we shot 3 music videos in 4 days with him. So Heads Up, Paradise and Flames. So the planning was insane. It was kind of insane. We pre-planned everything as much as we could, did the mood boards together with him. That was my first time having a new person to work with. We used to work with our old friend Philip. He used to do our old videos. And with Pavel, that was our first time having someone completely out of our private zone, out of our friend zone, whatever, that worked with us. So someone who was professional, and it was a new experience to try to convey our ideas and visions to him. Because back then I even also did the scripts, I did the entire mood boards. I kind of almost tried to explain everything I wanted in detail. And this time we had to kind of let go and also trust the artist, I would say. I think that's also an art. Him to also do his part and give him the freedom. So I wasn't able to do I didn't do the script this time. I just gave some ideas, like we want to have a forest. I like the projector idea. I would like to have a projector with flames behind us. I had the idea with the costume and with the roses in the bathtub. Like I gave him, we threw in all these ideas. Originally we wanted to burn the bathtub in a forest, but that wasn't possible legally. We were almost gonna do it, but no, that wasn't possible legally. And we had to work with our budget, of course, and with the short time we had. And we were also really dependent on the weather for Flames, because just a few shots were inside a studio. The rest was really in a forest that a fan of us owned. That was a really crazy side story. And yeah, and that was the planning pretty much. So I kind of had to let go of my ideas, or my control kind of. Yeah, I had to let go of my control, and we had to trust him with the looks. But we together we worked on the visions, and mostly I have these visions in my head already with flames and what colors I wanted and stuff like that. And I think he also added a few great things with perspectives, or for example in the intro or at some spots you can see me being in the forest, and then there's different versions of me running around. And that's something he did. I didn't even think about it, but I think it adds such a nice crazy touch to the video. And yeah, it's really cool when people get your ideas and can work with them.
Must have been blown away then when you saw the end result of that 4 days of shooting.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, it is interesting. It is, they do look similar, I think. You can tell. I'm not sure if you can tell that they were shot one after one. I hope not. But that they kind of have a similar vibe, I think. So when we got Paradise, we weren't as much surprised with Heads Up, because we already understood how the look was. And then we personally liked, I think, Flames the most almost from the 3 videos, because it looked different somehow to us. I don't know why. It had a different touch to it once again. And it looked interesting somehow. I loved how the ideas worked. I also had the idea with fairy lights in a forest, and it's just so nice when an idea just works out. That's such a satisfying freaking feeling, especially because on set we had a few issues. We had haze and fog that we had in the forest, but it was too cold for the fog to spread in the forest. And it always disappeared in a few seconds. So we had to shoot and shoot again. And we actually thought there's not going to be one single scene of the set in the video. And he made it work still. But we were like, oh shit, is this going to work? That was such a stressful experience sometimes. But yeah, we were really, really excited with the videos in the end.
It's just part of an incredible package that is this album run. I think it's an immense album, and I can feel, not just from the fan perspective, but from you as talking to you in this interview, how excited you are about it too. Mm-hmm. And what's really cool is, of course, is that the album comes out on Friday the 10th, and the work does not stop there. Of course, looking ahead, the UK gets to experience music live come September. Mm-hmm. You're over this way with Battle Beast, a huge tour all over Europe, actually, really big.
Getting goosebumps is crazy.
I mean, incredible. And a simple last question is, are you looking forward to that trip?
Yes, absolutely. So now I've experienced the tour life again,
Yeah.
had our headline tour, support tour, and I absolutely can't wait to play these songs live, honestly. We've waited for so long now, and I'm really hyped, especially going to England and the English-speaking countries. They will probably, as I think, understand the lyrics maybe even deeper. And it is cool because I write in English, but I haven't visited like as a band. I haven't visited England as a band ever, and that will be our first time, and this is so exciting. And also like Italy, and it is honestly a dream come true, and it feels surreal, but I'm super freaking excited, honestly. Yeah.
That's incredible. Before you go, I just have to mention that you're the second artist in the space of 2 weeks who said a very similar thing there, which is
Really?
obviously is in English.
Mm-hmm.
So that obviously an English-speaking country will often connect with it in a different way. Yeah, Landmarks, the vocalist from Landmarks said exactly the same thing.
Ah, okay.
And
Cool.
I've never heard that said like that before. So the fact that you said
Wow.
it really like just kind of take me back.
That's funny. Okay, wow. Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. That's funny.
You're both
Yeah,
doing
no,
awesome,
yeah.
awesome work.
Yeah.
Maria, thank you so
Thank you.
much for taking the time to do this. I really appreciate
Thanks.
your time.
Thank you for having me. It was a really nice experience, and I can't wait for all these reactions. And yeah, really excited.
Thank you very much for watching. You can check us out on gbhbl.com as well as on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Tumblr. Go to Patreon to help us out over there. That's patreon.com/gbhbl, as well as Big Cartel, where you can find some of our merchandise. We have a podcast running on SoundCloud and Apple Podcasts. And of course, if you like this video, do us a favour, hit the subscribe button and help the channel grow. Games, horror and heavy metal. What else is life for?